Every leader has a unique path, their own version of a perfect equilibrium between the family they grow with and the family they build. Sustaining this balance is what makes one a true leader. To understand what it takes to inspire an entire industry, we spoke to 4 exceptional leaders. Mr. R.C. Bhargava, Chairman of Maruti Suzuki and a believer of the spirit of serving the nation. Ms. Anita Dongre, the founder who weaves stories through her design. Mr. C.P. Gurnani, CEO of Tech Mahindra and a man who leads with humanity and humor. Mr. B.V.N. Rao, Chairman of GMR Infrastructure, a leader who preaches and practices discipline. Let's take a walk down memory lane with stalwarts who have changed the business mindsets of our entire nation. Welcome to the Cuppa Conversations.
How did you evolve into the leader that you are?
When I look back, I just completed my engineering in electrical. I was there for a couple of industries in a year. Later I joined back my university to did my MS. Earlier we used to call it as ME, Computer Systems. Then there is I should say it is a great shift in my journey. I joined the banking industry.
Right.
In those days, the Andhra Bank chose to take specialists like engineers for credit appraisals, agricultural officers, which is already practiced for the lending into rural sector, but certain chartered accountants at a direct recruitment process. I joined Andhra Bank. Whatever I am today, I think the 10 years I have been in bank, that is what learned me many things. That is where my journey started. So connecting with society, the banking has taught me connecting with the society. Second, entrepreneurship is what I learned during my career. Because being a banker, I trained overall banking, but my focus was in industrial finance.
Right.
So I used to meet different types of customers depending upon the region where I was. Then it starts. I just completed around 10 years of my service. I was thinking I should go back to my family business. When I was about to plan all those things, I planned, of course, just about to start my journey. My friend Mr. G.M. Rao called to me. He thought of professionalizing his business by coming out of the family because he has a different vision. And during 1988, our journey together started. I have been with him for all these years. I have been with every business of the group.
I ended up questioning one of the suppliers, and the suppliers was Lloyd Insulation that time, and I actually challenged them that their design was 2x or 3x or what was required. They ended up hiring me as a management trainee.
Okay.
And as I said, I was itchy because process industry was a bit limiting for me. I think it was a good break with Lloyd Insulations. From there, I switched to Fenner India Limited. And that time it was very purely simple that, I mean, we are now talking about, the year 80s where, India had just about got the Maruti car.
Right.
So Fenner India was a direct responsibility into sales. And I thought I wanted to try my luck at sales as a career. As I told you, extreme ownership, being in control of your time, your life, and being able to take decisions was very important to me.
Right.
And that really gave me an opportunity. It worked out all right, and from there, I actually switched to computer industry, and I was lucky that I got a break with HCL.
Right.
I was also lucky that very early in my career, I took some unusual decisions and I got noticed by the chairman of the group, Shiv Nadar.
Really?
And when I walked into his room, because of the unusual decisions that I'd taken, I thought I'll be sacked. And Shiv, being the true entrepreneur, actually encouraged me. So I'm really grateful to, being coached by Shiv Nadar, and I ended up working with him for many, many years. So it is clearly the opportunity of my lifetime that I actually ended up working for two of the best entrepreneurs India has ever produced. One is Shiv Nadar and one is Mahindra.
Oh, that's so
And both of them, in all fairness, were good coaches, but they allowed me to play my game. They were great, chairman. They were great, brand custodians. They were great people to elevate the game, but they allowed you to play the game. And that, to me, is the biggest management lesson of life, that you need to decide when you are a coach and when you are a player.
right.
And I can only say thank you, Shiv, and thank you, Anand.
That's like leaders inspiring leaders. Wow. What's your most important leadership quality?
In my case, I think 2 or 3 things which one was that I had no ego problems. I think one of my successes as a leader has been my willingness to learn. What also helped me, I think, was that I'm able to learn quickly and retain what I learn.
Were you good at maintaining a work-life balance?
What you're saying was valid till I was working full-time in an executive job. That was 97.
Okay.
That's when I retired as the managing director. After that, I had no full-time engagement anywhere
Okay.
and no executive role. So life became very different post 97. There was still a lot of work. I was doing a lot of things. I wrote over a couple of books and things. But it was very different from what it was up to 97. Up to 97, the pressure was high. I had no time. And I don't think there's any doubt that I couldn't give as much time as normally a person should give to the family. We rarely ever took a holiday. And sometimes I would plan a holiday, then something else would come, I had to cancel it, and everybody was very upset.
So did all of you all had to cancel, or you stayed back and the family went
No,
ahead?
me, because something came up where I had to do something, so they had to stay back. They didn't do without me.
Okay.
So it was not easy in those days.
So leadership does not come easy.
Now it's not so difficult.
I never understood the difference between work and business life. I have no boundaries between business life and my personal life. So my colleagues know as much about my personal life and my personal life. My family knows as much about my business life. So I never created boundaries.
Yeah, that I could figure out from your office, from those pictures that your team put up for you. That's very sweet gesture.
I just refused to create boundaries, so they never had to balance.
Right, that's great.
Family and profession should be a balanced life. Yes, profession throws you challenges, but I always remember our group chairman, Mr. G.M. Rao, always says, you have to manufacture time. For all of us, it is 24/7 limited.
Right.
But manufacturing time is how efficiently we use life. While I am a 24/7 person for my teams, one, by delegation, second, prioritization in business, we should make family time also.
Right.
Luckily, my children and my family always supported, they appreciated, and whatever reasonable time we could spend, we spent very efficiently by building relationships, exchange thoughts. And I believe, though it is my small unit, I always believe communication is the best way of family governance.
Right.
Where do you find everyday inspiration?
You know, I was really fortunate that I knew I wanted to be a designer at the young age of 15. Where do I draw inspiration from? I think inspiration can be at you, can reach you every day, wherever you are. It could be a book you're reading, it could be a flower that I see, it could be nature, it could be a story. It can be so much. It can be a tile pattern in a bathroom that I'm just visiting. It can be somebody that I meet and I'm inspired by the person. So it can hit you anywhere. You have to just keep yourself open to inspiration.
Tell us a childhood incident that shaped you.
I'm a lone child to my parents. I have no brothers, no sisters.
Oh, all right.
There was a lot of affection,
Right.
but at the same time, my mother especially, she's worried whether I will develop into a good citizen or I will go into a different path. I was marked as a very timid and good guy. Everybody used to love me in my childhood also in the school. When I was in 12th class, I think this is one of the turning point for me. My school pupil leader. Generally, little naughty guys or
Yes.
people very proactive. This type of people will go to that position. There were some disputes, differences between the groups in the school and all. Finally, they all chose me as a school people leader. So that is where, though I am having knowledge or sometimes in school speeches and all, it is fine, elocutions and all. But conducting a school discipline and leadership at that level is a little difficult challenge, task for me. So I was continuously training myself how to be a leader, how to find ways to
Wow.
pass differently,
Right.
so that the confidence imposed by all my colleagues, classmates, or even my juniors, because at that time 12th class is the senior most person in
Right.
the school. So it was a struggle. Initially it was a struggle, then it was a practice, then it is a demonstration. So it has taught me a different path. I think my school pupil leadership is a different path altogether.
How did you empower your women employees?
You know, today fashion for me, I realize, is such an empowerment tool, because in the industry of fashion, there are hundreds and thousands of hands that work towards creating those garments. And for me today, empowering the maker of these garments is becoming very, very important to me, especially to women in rural India. I know today I work in the city like Bombay, but today a lot of my work goes into rural India, and seeing the empowerment stories of how our work impacts women in villages, how determined they are to earn some money for themselves, and how they are using their skills and their talents. And today we are just facilitators for that. And fashion to become this great empowerment tool is what excites me today.
What's your advice for a new leader?
You know, it is very convenient to remember a few stories that influence you in your life. Colonel Raghavendra Singh Rathod, who played different roles in life. He was a Fauji, then he became a sportsman, then he became a politician, and now he is more of the party worker. And I asked the same question to Colonel Rathod. I said, Colonel Rathod, when did you learn leadership? He said, I'm a third generation military wala, And in one of my earlier jobs as a second lieutenant, that is Colonel Rathod as a second lieutenant was leading up 12 people and they were being ambushed. And he said, I was leading from the front and I was trying to shoot the insurgents. He said a senior non-commissioned officer who had even worked with my father, that means Colonel Rathod's father, tapped him, called him at the back and said, sir, it's not your job to fire. It is your job is to make those other 12 people effective. And I think it is a beautiful leadership lesson.
Right.
That any budding leader, it is, you got to this position because you were great as a person who fires.
Absolutely.
But now your job has changed. You need to elevate yourself and make other people successful.
Right.
Any leader, the value systems he believe or his organization believe. Many of us we adopt or we will be part of our ethos or values of the organization. But all of us individually also will have our value system. So one is character. Individual has a character by his own values, he or she. And organization also, I believe there will be a value system.
Right.
Delegate, verify. This is the part of a leadership process. A review mechanism or a proper processes. Finally, the commitment, and I should say that we all need like a helicopter view in conducting our jobs. Sometimes you should be at 15, 20, 30,000. Sometimes you should immediately come to the ground level.
Right.
And continuous persuasion, I think, and perseverance of the goals is the way.
Take us through a day in your life.
My day starts with gratitude. My first prayer is to thank the Almighty, the nature, giving me another day. For all of us, future is uncertainty. But yes, the next day is always an opportunity.
Right.
I thank my parents for what I am today. I thank my gurus who made my life and gave me a path towards what I am today. Then daily chores. I read almost 6-7 newspapers.
Wow.
Over my tea and this thing. That is almost the hour it goes. Then I go with my yoga and fitness. And I felt earlier yoga is the need because the flexibility.
Right.
Because of our lifestyle.
Yes.
Back pains, all these.
Absolutely.
Then I have my shower. Then puja and meditation. It will take about another 45 minutes. Then that day starts with our
Work. I'm sure.
What keeps you motivated?
You know, I think what's really important for a creative person, and I would say this for any creative person, is to walk in every morning and give vent to that creativity. I walk in every day to work bursting with designs in my head, and I'm just so grateful that I can walk in and make those designs happen. Then I get a double reward when I make those designs, and for me what motivates me also is the people who wear those designs. I like my designs to be loved, I like them to be worn. And when you meet customers who feel equally motivated by wearing your designs, so whether when I met this young girl who is a CEO today and who bought one of my jackets 20 years ago for her very first interview, and how empowered she felt when she wore that jacket and walked in with great confidence at that interview. Or when I meet a bride who saves up her salary and walks in and pays for the lehenga from her own, with her own credit card, not her parents', and says it was worth it for me to save up for this lehenga and what that lehenga means to her. Stories like that motivate me. But primarily as a designer, yes, you come in to create and you're just grateful that you can create every day. it's a gift, and I'm really, really grateful for that.
What are the must-have qualities for a leader?
Just taking a pause to reflect on it. Well, let's go back to the basics. You cannot be a leader if you do not lead a team. And to lead a team, the team has to have confidence in you. The team has to believe in the goals that you set, and the team has to deliver extraordinary results for you to be successful.
Right.
So, first realization that in leadership, it's not the leader who is most important, it's the team which is most important.
Absolutely.
What motivates you to get out of bed?
There's not much motivation more to get out of bed, and I hate getting out of bed.
Work.
Wow. Very straightforward and crisp.
A great day, another great day.
What's your favorite part of the job?
Getting some issue resolved or getting some new ideas to take matters forward or make some improvements or bring something new happen.
Creating.
Meeting people.
Great.
Relationships.
Where does your inspiration come from?
I have not had inspirations, I must confess, in terms of any individual. What motivates me and makes me want to do things is the desire to make things better in India, to make people's lives better.
Right.
And I think the satisfaction from Maruti came also was because I think we made literally hundreds of thousands of lives better.
That's right. My mom.
My mother.
Challenges and opportunities.
What is your biggest achievement?
Obviously Maruti. But Maruti, I must straight away tell you, is not my achievement. It's an achievement of all the people who have worked to make it possible.
Yet to come.
What do you do in your free time?
During the pandemic, I couldn't play golf and there's much more time. So I started seeing Netflix.
I think most of us were hooked on to Netflix and other OTT platforms during this time.
What's your favorite holiday destination?
Rajasthan.
In India, it is Jaipur because I can go there 150 times and not get tired because that's where I did my final years of schooling. I still have a few friends who are willing to do a few naughty things with me. And overseas, I love Israel because Israel gives me the energy.
Right.
The entrepreneurship, their love for technology, they're willing to bow down to anybody. I think it just gives me the energy.
The most likely holiday destination is my native place.
With this, we come to the end of this interview. But one thing I would want to say before I end this segment is, while walking into your house, I was just thinking about, what car would Mr. Bhargava be driving? I was surprised to see a Maruti stand there.
What did you expect?
I thought a lavish car stand there.
One of the management practices in Maruti is to avoid all forms of unnecessary expenditure.
Thank you. With that, we'll come to the end of this interview. Thank you so much for this candid conversation, CP. And of course, I do look forward to hosting you again sometime in the future. Thank you.
So thank you, Dimple. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for those wonderful insights, Anita. And
Thank you.
Thank you for taking us down the memory lane. And I think it's great work that you're doing, taking up brides on the biggest days of their lives. And
Thank
it was
you.
a great conversation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Rao, for participating in Cuppa Conversations. I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. I think very interesting. This few minutes has taken me back throughout my career, I should say.
I'm glad I could do that.
68 years, so I have seen all the facets of my life. Thank you.
Wow. I'm actually glad I could take you down that memory lane. Thank you so much, sir.